All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started for tonight. This should be pretty quick. My goal is to try to get through this really in about 30 minutes. So we'll go ahead and just get started. Want to introduce myself. Let me know if you type in the chat. You won't be able to unmute yourself. But what we'll do through a lot of these coaches meetings is if you have any questions, just put them in the chat, and then we'll go through those questions as we go. It just helps us move through the meeting, and then we'll answer questions as we have time. To give you some introduction, my name is Jack Miller. I'm the Senior Sports Director for the YMCA. So you'll see me out at Owens Field if you play out there, and you might see me around Jeep as well. Ashley Brazel is on this call as well. She is the Sports Director for the Northwest YMCA out in Irmo. And then Everett Summers is new to us. He will be here at the Jeep Rogers location and be your Sports Director for this season. Going over the calendar for coaches, just so everybody is on the same page. Remember, practices do start this coming week, which is the week of October 24th. So whatever day you are assigned. Jeep coaches, I just got done putting in all of your practice times for the year. So if you look in player space, you can see your practice day time field on your team. Owens, I will be doing that during Thursday Night Football tonight. So hopefully my fancy team doesn't take a hit, but I will be doing that during the Cardinals game tonight. And then you'll be able to see your practice day time, field, etc. Also on October 24th, which is Monday, is when game schedules will be released. So for those who maybe haven't played before, we typically lead with our 8 to 9 year olds in the morning at 9 a.m., followed by our 6 to 7s, kind of in that middle afternoon, 11, 12 time frame, and then 10, 11 year olds at 1, and then and 2 o'clock, and then the older kids to round out the day. So that's a typical schedule for 3 to 5 year olds. Because you play on a separate field, you guys will start early in the morning at 9 a.m. and go for the 2-3 hours, as many games as you need that morning. November 5th will be the first game. So that's two Saturdays from now. November 21st, that week of Thanksgiving, there will be no practices, no games. So we'll take the entire week of the 21st off and then come back that next Monday. December 17th is the last game. It is a 6-game season. And we will play all the way up until December 17th, and then we will end for Christmas break going into basketball in January. For coaching basics, this is where I expect some people will have some questions, so please feel free to pop it in the chat and we'll answer. We'll also have a final Q&A. We'll have a Q&A after the rules, so lots of opportunity to ask questions here. Feel free to pop anything in the chat if you're not sure. If you do have a question and you don't want to ask it in this meeting, then feel free to reach out to one of us, again, myself here at Owens Field, Everett for Jeep, or for Ashley at Northwest, and we'll be able to help you answer those questions. So for coaching for player space, for those of you who are new, you should have gotten an email already announcing you as the coach for your team. And when you go in, you'll be able to see a little more behind the scenes as far as rostering, as far as how do you communicate, how do you see schedule. You'll be able to post to the league, to the team wire. You'll be able to send messages out to parents. We do the nice thing about Player Space is it acts as a messaging system. So you'll be able to easily just click the button message. And as soon as you message, or as soon as you hit send message, it's going to send it out to your entire team. So it's just going to connect. It has all their emails, phone numbers. So it's going to have that for you. I know we just had a group of about 4 people just join in just to remind everybody this meeting is recorded. So if you've missed something in the last 2 or 3 minutes we've been starting, this is recorded. We'll put it up on YouTube, and you guys can go back and catch whatever you might have missed the last couple of minutes. But Player Space will have all that information. It'll have game schedule, practice schedule. You will get communication from the YMCA. If especially with flag football, if we have a rain out, all that's going to come through Player Space for cancellations. And you'll also be able to reach out and communicate with your parents through Player Space if maybe you need to cancel a practice. Daryl, I'll tell you that we're working on that for Jeep because we're going to move some girls down and we're trying to get some girls to come over from soccer. So your roster really isn't done yet. I think you've got like 5 right now. But we're working to get you to 10. We just got to move some pieces around. We're not going to put you at 5. So coaching expectations for those who maybe haven't coached before. This is what I will tell you. This is what the league is. This is what to expect. This is a developmental league. This is not a competitive league. We do not keep standings. We do not track scores. We do not have a playoffs. This is for kids to come out to learn in a safe environment and to learn in an affordable environment. But it is a recreational league. We do not care about winning. Our referees are going to be high school and college kids that play the game of football and want to come out and spend time in the community on a Saturday working with kids in football. Our coaches are going to be volunteer parents that know the game. In the South, everybody knows the game of football. And so we appreciate that. It's easier, believe me. I've done the same program in the Midwest. It's a lot harder to find parents who want to coach football in the Midwest. It's not as big a deal out there. So here, a lot of people love football. They want to coach. They want to get involved, and we really appreciate that. But those are your coaches. That's who you're going to see on the field is parents. This is a recreational league, and it is for the kids. It's for fun, and that's going to play into a lot of what we do and decisions we make. Practices. So you will get 1 hour a week, again, starting next week on your assigned night. I want to make this very clear. I've said this in coaches meetings before, but I'm going to say it one more time. And then I'm going to put it in the email when we send it out to coaches. Your team, from now until we end the season, your team gets 1 hour a week at your location. So if you're an Owensfield team, you get 1 hour at Owens, a Jeep team, 1 hour at Jeep, Northwest, 1 hour at Irmo, etc. You may not practice either individually or together outside of the YMCA property, and you may not practice for more than 1 hour a week. I know that seems odd, but that is completely and 100% our insurance policy and our child abuse prevention policy. It does not allow for teams to meet off property. It does not allow for teams to meet more than once a week. So that is our policy. And if we catch wind of teams practicing off-site or getting extra practices in, those teams will be suspended from the YMCA. So I want to make that very clear. There was no miscommunication from us on our end. That is our expectation for this season. Games will be on Saturdays, as we've already discussed those timings there. Games, you're going to line up your play for, it's 20-minute halves. Games typically are going to go about 50, 55 minutes. You do get timeouts. There is a 1 minute warning, so clock does stop for the last 1 minute. Otherwise, it's running. So expect about 50-ish minutes for your games on Saturdays. And then you'll get off the field. The next team will come on, and we'll be rotating through a lot of teams. We'll be here all day on Saturday with games. And when you come out, we'll have equipment out. Same thing for practices. We'll have equipment out. We'll have footballs. We'll have belts for you for practices and games. We'll have cones. We'll have the players' jerseys for their games. The only thing that they really need to have is a mouth guard, and then cleats. We definitely recommend cleats for this time of year. If you're wondering about football sizes, so 3 to 5 year olds and 6 to 7 year olds, you guys are using Pee-wee size footballs. For 8 to 9 year olds and 10 to 11 year olds, you're using a junior size, and then for 12 to 14s, you're using a youth size football, not official. We had some issues that last year, not official size, youth size for the 12 to 14s. Sportsmanship and conduct toward officials, I'm going to lump into one. Sportsmanship, at the Y, it's easier to tell when somebody is having good sportsmanship than bad sportsmanship sometimes. And that's how we'd prefer it. I'd rather not have instances of bad sportsmanship. A lot of times it's more, they're not directly breaking the rules. They're not directly being unsportsmanlike, but they are trying to a little too hard to win. They are losing focus on the kids, are losing focus on fun. And that's how we typically see it here at the Y when we see people lose sight of what we're doing. Good sportsmanship is, we're going to play our worst player the same as we're going to play our best player. We're going to focus on our kids and them having fun and being positive. We're not going to focus on the opposing team. We're not going to focus on the officials. We're not going to yell at officials. We're not going to come out on the field towards officials. Again, these are high school and college kids that played the game of football that are going to give up their time on a Saturday to come out and referee. And it is the YMCA. They are not making thousands of dollars to do this, but they're going to spend their time out here on Saturday. So we're going to treat them with respect, and we're not going to have any problems there. Fans, couple issues with this in the past. So we're going to again clarify this. Fans are going to be your responsibility as a coach. And what I mean by that is if fans are getting on the referees, if fans are yelling at the referee is going to come to you and he's going to say, your parents need to stop. If they don't, you forfeit the game. And so then it will be their decision on what they want to do moving forward. But the referees are going to go through you. They're not going to go and yell at those parents back and say, you need to stop talking. They're going to go to you and they're going to say, your fans, if they don't stop, the game's over. So they are going to go through you for that if we have any issues. going to go over the rules real quick, and then we'll go into our final Q&A. Like I said, we're going to kind of breeze through this tonight and then just open up for a lot of questions if you have any. I know a lot of you are returning coaches, so you probably have been in the trenches. You've done this. So there's nothing really new this year, but good refresher if you haven't done it. Maybe if you didn't do it in the summer and you've just done the fall, good refresher to come back to. Pull up. Here we go. All right, if you can't see this, let me know in the chat. If you can't see what I've got up here, but I have the rule book up. We'll also email this out to you, so don't worry if you don't need to take screenshots. We will email this out. But yeah, if you played with us in the past, nothing has really changed at all. It's 5v5, 50-yard field, 25-yard halves or half at the 25-yard line. You've got your 5-yard no run zone, so the 5 yards going into the end zone and 5 yards going into half is where you cannot run. You have to throw it, and that's to prevent teams from just lining up and power run in a league where we're going to be no contact. So nothing has changed in that size. Talked about the ball size. Timeouts, you got 3 each, 2 20-minute halves. Clock's going to run. Only thing that we did change, and actually it's not changed on here, we'll need to change that, is it's going to run until the last 1 minute, not 2 minutes. We had games going for just too long with a 2-minute half or a 2-minute warning with clock stoppage, and it would last 15 minutes. 2 minutes for the last 15 minutes. So that's going to go to just the last 1 minute. The clock will stop. Otherwise, it's going to run for 19 minutes and then it'll stop. You're going to have 5-on-5. Everybody's eligible. Center, everybody's going to be an eligible receiver, 5-on-5. The quarterback can only run if he's blitzed. We'll talk about that in a second. So you can't have design quarterback runs. One thing, we've had this come up, we will clarify, yes, if the quarterback hands the ball to the running back and the running back stands there, he can throw it or he can run it. So that is how you can make your quarterback mobile. But at the same time, as soon as that ball is handed off, then the defense can cross the line of scrimmage at any time, any number. So it's an open play at that point. Talked about equipment. We definitely recommend cleats. Mouth guards are the only things we require, and then we will provide the flag belts and the footballs and jerseys. You got 4 downs to cross the 25-yard line, 4 downs to score. Yeah, so I'm going to answer questions as they come in. So if you see me pause, that's why. Yes, there is a player space guide that when we link stuff, it's actually in the email that we've sent to them. So if they've gotten the email of how to log into their player space, it's actually in that email. The scoring, touchdown 6 points, safeties 2 points, and then you can go for 1 or 2. 1 point is going to be from the 5-yard line. 2 points is going to be from the 10-yard line. Again, with a 1 point, because you're at the 5-yard line, you cannot run. So you have to throw the ball. The defense cannot blitz. If you go for 2 points from the 10-yard line, offense can run or throw. And the defense can blitz. Sorry. Let's come back over this. No hard bill caps. For winter clothing, we've had this come up in the past. They just need to have the jersey on over it. They can wear, a long sleeve. They can even, some people wear hoodies. That's okay. They just have to, the jersey has to be over whatever winter apparel they're going to wear. And then the flag belt has to be over the jersey. So the flag belt can't be tucked under, a sweater or something. The flag belt has got to be over top of the jersey. Let's see. 0 tolerance for profane language or inappropriate gestures. 0 tolerance for unsportsmanlike conduct. Inclement weather. So again, inclement weather, please be looking to player space. There is a lot of rain this time of year. So just be looking to player space for any issues with cancellations there. All right, moving on, rules of play. So 5-on-5, no more than 2 players in the backfield. So that means you can have a quarterback and a running back, or you can have a quarterback and a wide receiver off the line. You can have a quarterback and a wide receiver in motion, but you cannot have multiple. So you cannot have a quarterback, a running back, and a wide receiver in motion. You can only have 2 players off the line at the time of the snap. Everything starts from the 5-yard line. There's no punting. So the ball will be placed at the 5-yard line. You'll have 45 yards to march down and score. If you don't convert on 4th down, you don't make it past half, or you don't score on 4th down, then the ball goes to the opponent's 5-yard line and they'll have 45 yards to go down and score. Quarterbacks have 7 seconds from the snap of the ball to throw it. So as soon as the ball is snapped, referees will count. Once they get to 7, then it's a dead ball and it's just lost it down. Interceptions may be returned. We always have some issues with interceptions. So just to make sure everybody's on the same page, an interception can be returned and possession starts where the interception is returned to. The only instance where this is not true is on a conversion. on a 1 or 2 point conversion, a interception is just a dead ball and a no good try. That's it. There's no points for intercepting a conversion, a 1 or 2 point conversion. Quarterback cannot directly run unless he is blitzed. Only direct handoffs behind the line of scrimmage. Laterals are allowed. Offensive players are not allowed to guard their flags or make contact with the defender. No clipping. And what we've said with screen blocking and clipping, we said this in the summer, and it worked fairly well, and we're continuing to say it. The best way to think of this, coaches, this is a no contact league, so you cannot go initiate contact. So if you're the offensive player, you cannot run out and initiate contact with the defender to block. You can run alongside them. You can run and stop and screen block, but you cannot run and then initiate contact into a defender. Same thing, defenders, you cannot run through and initiate contact with an offensive player. You have to move around. You cannot initiate contact. Ball is dead anytime it hits the floor or hits the ground. No fumbles. So if the player fumbles the ball, it's just dead. If the player has the ball, it slips out of his hand, and miraculously a defender grabs the ball before it hits the ground, it's a fumble. There is no fumble. It's just possession of the offense. The only time that you can recover or you can get the ball back is if the ball is in the air off a pass and you intercept it. That's it. If there's possession and the player drops it, even if it doesn't hit the ground, that's a fumble. We don't have fumbles, so it's still retaining the possession of the offense. Any number of players can rush the quarterback if they are 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So when we place a cone down for the line of scrimmage, we will then walk 7 yards into the defensive backfield, put a cone down, and that will be the defensive line of scrimmage. And any defender that starts on that cone can blitz as soon as the ball is snapped. Now, again, because there's some confusion, defenders can play all the way up on the line of scrimmage. You can press, you can play all the way up on the line of scrimmage. You can only blitz if you're behind the blitz cone, just to clarify. Any number of players can be behind that blitz cone. Any number of players can blitz the quarterback as soon as the ball is snapped. Once the defender gets in the backfield, the quarterback can run with the ball. 20-minute half stops within 1 minute. And then there's penalties there, with offsides, flag guarding, etc. And you'll be able to read through those when we send this out. So those are the basics of rules. Those are the basics of coaching at the Y. I know that was a really, really fast 20-minute, run through of a coach's meeting, but now we want to open it up. Typically where we get the most value out of these is now opening it up to questions. And so anything that you want to ask us to get clarification on, this is your chance to go ahead and ask those questions. And again, for those of you who showed up late, or if you've missed any part of this meeting, just remember this meeting will be recorded and put up on our YouTube page, so you'll be able to go in and view this meeting afterwards. If a flag falls off, if it just snaps off and it wasn't touched, there's always a little bit of gray area, because let's say that there's contact with a defender and the flag falls off. A lot of times they're going to call that down, even if it wasn't maybe necessarily pulled and snapped off by the defender. If something happens, there's contact and it comes off, it's going to be down. But if a flag just randomly falls off, it is one hand touch and it's above the waist and below the head. All right, so one hand chest, one hand on the back, and one hand tag, and they are down. Normally we have like 20 or 30 questions in these meetings, so don't be afraid. We are prepared for it. I'll be more concerned if nobody has any questions. All right, well, maybe everybody just wants to go home and watch the Thursday night football game, which I understand. Yes, it's 5v5. So good question. Good question. So great questions. There we go. Now they're coming in. 3 to 5 year olds. Here's what I'll tell you. 3 to 5 year olds, everything that I just said in this meeting, forget it, because you're going to be organized chaos. You're going to be herding cats. You're going to be, can we get a player to hold a football? Can we get them to run? I've seen 3 to 5 year old games where all of a sudden the player is halfway to North Carolina. So your goal is not going to be, can we get them to pass the ball, your goal is going to be, can we get them to line up, stand still, and actually maybe take the football the right direction? And that's really all that's going to be, is teaching them, one, how to wear a flag, and which way are they going. Keep going back up here. So scrimmages on practice days, I don't mind. You're not going to get a referee from us for those, obviously. And then that's going to be between you and the other coach. However, again, going back to what I said before, you get 1 hour of practice a week. So if they're willing to give up their hour and you're willing to give up your hour to have a scrimmage, that's fine. As long as you have the field, you know that it's either during their practice time or your practice time, you know you have the field, then that's fine. That's going to be your practice hour for the week. Yes, you can, I'm okay with that in the 3 to 5s. Coaches, if you want to pitch the ball, hand the ball off, it's helped a lot of times. Coaches, it helps if you act as the quarterback and help get the ball to where it's supposed to go. I would like to see those 3 to 5-year-olds get to a point where they can play quarterback and they can hand the ball off. But realistically, sometimes, especially the first couple of games, that's just not possible. And that's fine. We want them to succeed. We want them to get the ball. We want them to run. We want mom and dad to take pictures of them running in the end zone. That's our goal for the 3 to 5-year-olds. So reschedules, the problem with running into Christmas break is that it's really hard to reschedule on a Saturday. We will definitely, if they're willing to play a double header, we can look at that. But a lot of times we're going to look at a weekday makeup for those reschedule games. It's going to be very hard to get Saturday games because we just don't have another Saturday to push to. Oh, sorry. Make sure I'm catching up here. So yes, games are on Saturdays, and if you're at Jeep, then your practice times have already been uploaded in the practice calendar, and you'll be able to see that with your team. And Owens Field, I'll be adding those in tonight during Thursday Night Football. Depends on your location. Most teams have half a field for practice. Some teams will have full, but it just depends on your practice day and time and how many teams are trying to practice at the same time. So it depends a little bit. And if you want to reach out to your site director for more specific answer, again, Ashley Brazel at Northwest, myself for Owens Field, or Everett for Jeep, Everett Summers for Jeep, and we'll be able to give you a little more specific answer. So as far as traveling, the only teams that would travel are 8, 9, and above. For this season, 8, 9-year-olds and 10 to 11-year-olds, we're only going to have to travel a couple of teams between Owens and Northwest, just due to the number of teams that each site's able to do. So there's not going to be a lot of travel at all this year. We have a lot of teams at each site that we're able to really prevent a lot of traveling. 3 to 5-year-olds and 6 to 7-year-olds don't travel at all. 12 to 14-year-olds are the only team where you're going to see consistent travel because we just don't have a lot of teams. So there'll be more travel there. But a lot of teams are going to be able to stay either in-house and play very few, maybe 1 or 2 travel games. Can the running back move in the backfield? So, I mean, it would be, I'm trying to think through in my head how that would happen. I mean, if they move forward before the ball snap, it's going to be a false start. They could run parallel to the line of scrimmage, but if they're moving forward towards the line of scrimmage when the ball is snapped, that would be an illegal motion. They could start as the running back, and then they could go parallel to the line of scrimmage when the ball snapped, but they could not be moving forward towards the line of scrimmage when the ball is snapped. That would be an illegal motion. Your best contact for reschedules is going to be your site director. So Ryan, if that's me at Owens, Everett for Jeep, or Ashley for Northwest. So your site director is going to run everything there. So any reschedules would go through them. Prior to the snap, but still behind the line. Yeah, as long as they're parallel to the line of scrimmage, that's fine. They can be in motion. Again, that would be the only player you couldn't have a wide receiver off the line then. But yeah, that's fine. As long as they're not moving towards the line of scrimmage, that'd be fine. I don't think I've missed any questions. Just checking. Anyone else? We will get, like I said, we're getting, so Owens, your practice schedules will get put in. We've got game schedules going out Monday. So when you look at your schedule, you'll see your practice schedule, and then you'll see your game schedule. It'll be integrated together. So you'll see your practices on whatever day, and then you'll see a Saturday, and you'll see practice Saturday game, practice Saturday game. They'll just go through the calendar in order. So you'll be able to see that for the whole season. As soon as this video uploads to YouTube, I'll send it out to the directors, and then we'll send that out to coaches, and that will then include the rule book as well. Yeah. So, quarterback rolls out. It doesn't matter because the defenders, if a defender's behind the blitz cone, he can blitz on the snap, right? But if they don't blitz, it doesn't matter. The quarterback's still the quarterback. He has 7 seconds to throw the ball, and they're not going to be able to blitz if they're not behind the cone. So yeah, the rule never changes, if the quarterback rolls out or anything. Yeah, we definitely are fine with coaches calling plays in the huddle. It's way more acceptable in the 3 to 5 and 6 to 7 level because you're going to have to be on the field to call those plays and get them lined up. 8 to 9s is when we start having coaches off the field on defense. So we really don't want coaches standing in the field of play on defense once we get to 8, 9-year-old and up level. But on offense, you can go in and call the play. You just need to get away so that the field is open in case there's a play going the other way. We just don't want you involved. We don't want you talking to quarterbacks, moving players around. Once you call the play, you're then off the field, at 8, 9, 10 plus level. But 6 to 7-year-olds, 3 to 5-year-olds, offense, defense coaches, you guys can be on the field. You're going to need to be to get the players set up, move where they need to be, and make sure they actually can play the game. So it just depends on what age group you're with. Any other questions? So again, Ryan, it just at the 8, 9 level, you can't be on the field. So 6 to 7, 3 to 5-year-olds, defensive coaches can be on the field, do what you need to do. That's fine. 8, 9s. Typically what happens is, let's say the ball turns over, you're now on defense. Coaches may step on the field real quick, set their guys up, but then they're off the field for the remainder of the time the offense has the ball. We just don't want, it's just at that level, there's too much going on. Kids are moving around too fast. We don't want coaches getting involved, and then it becomes very subjective. Coaches are cheating or getting in the way. So we just remove coaches from the field. It shouldn't be a change from last year. And if it is, then, that's something that we probably should look at, because in theory, we haven't allowed coaches on the field on defense since I've been here for 8, 9s plus. It shouldn't be allowed. Daryl, I will tell you that if you guys as the coaches for that league are okay, since that's such a new league for us, I'm 100% fine with you guys deciding, hey, we want to do something different from the rule book, and we're both okay with it. That's still, you guys will still be in that age where we would not have defensive coaches on the field. It would only be offensive coaches, but if both coaches can agree to it, I'm fine. We, again, want you guys to be, we'd rather you guys be successful there. It's fine. All of our leagues are co-ed. We do have specific all girls flag football in a way to give girls a different area. A lot of times girls don't want to play sports on a co-ed team, but they'll play on an all girls team. So we have offered all girls flag football this season in the summer. But in general, all of our leagues are co-ed. So you could see boys and girls on the same team, but for the most part, flag football outside of the all girls teams, for the vast majority, our flag football teams are predominantly male, just like our volleyball teams are predominantly female. But you will see mixed genders in some age groups. 1 practice a week until game starts. So this is different from the summer, where in the summer you had a lot of practices at the front end of your season, and then you had games on weeknights. Well, this is our more traditional sports schedule. So you'll have one practice a week and then you'll have games. So those practices will continue throughout the season. And then you'll have a game on Saturday. So a little bit different. Our summer football is the only league that has front loaded practices into weekday games. Anybody else? All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to officially end the meeting. So go ahead and feel free. If you don't have a question to hop off, appreciate y'all. Looking forward to the season. Reach out to us if you need anything. If you're wanting to stay on and ask a question, we'll stick around for about 5 more minutes or until everybody leaves the call. So thank you guys. Really appreciate y'all. Looking forward to the season. If you see your sports director, understand that we're all a little crazy right now. Soccer is ending for us. Volleyball is ending for us. And flag football starting next week. So technically the 3 of us are dealing with about 3,500 kids right now across 3 branches. So there's a lot going on. So just be prepared when you see us. That might be why we look a little tired and ready to not be here anymore. So we'll work with us. We'll work with y'all as soon as soccer gets over. It'll be a little bit easier for us to devote more time to you guys. But we're looking forward to next week getting practices going. Let us know if you need anything. And again, we'll stick around for a couple minutes if anybody wants to ask a question. But feel free to leave. Thanks so much.